It was supposed to be a getaway for Louisville's elite.
He wanted to make Lake Dreamland a resort.
But within a decade, summer cottages turned into year-round homes, but with no sewer lines or running water.
It became an increasingly less desirable place to live for some people.
The hopes and dreams of Louisville's forgotten land deteriorating.
The best thing that could happen would be to put a bulldozer in there and bulldoze it all down.
Locals saying, "Leave me alone."
Until you know the facts, don't believe nothing.
Born in 1888, the second youngest of 14 brothers and sisters, Ed Hartledge was the creative son. He wasn't afraid to dream, and he knew what it took to go after it.
Uncle Ed did what he wanted to do.
This is Earl Hartledge, Ed's great-nephew. He remembers his uncle's biggest dream of all.
Come out to beautiful Lake Dreamland for your retreat to get out of the city.
Ed knew if he wanted to turn the farmland on Ohio's riverfront into something special, there would need to be a gathering spot, a lake perhaps. So he dug it himself.
With that thing right there.
It's called a slip scraper. He'd pack in the dirt and with help from a mule.
You pick it all the way up and dump it.
Yes.
Research by Louisville archivist Tom Owens suggests by 1931, Lake Dreamland was on the map.
And you had a boat ramp, you had a little restaurant here, a little restaurant there.
Through the 30s and 40s, it flourished. Lake Dreamland considered by many as the summer destination.
By 1941, Ed Hartledge had turned that dairy barn into a dance hall, a formal dance hall that has a name.
Club El Rancho, where you could drink, dine, and dance away your Saturday night for just 65 cents.
And I know they were doing rock and roll there.
That was a really hopping place. That was the nightclub in the city of Louisville.
In 1967, El Rancho burned to the ground after it fell into the hands of a motorcycle gang. And during that time, Lake Dreamland shifted from summer socialite visitors to a year-round residential community.
So the cottages were expanded in some cases. They were winterized.
Ed would lease the land to you for 99 years. He would not sell the lots, and he made sure it was affordable. But there was a problem. Ed Hartledge still owned the entire site, so the government couldn't touch it. He could make improvements, but it was hard to keep up.
The county couldn't come in and pave the streets, so the streets were in some decline. So you have people looking for a modest place to live, a cottage that did not have sewers, had septic tanks only. In early days, didn't even have running water.
That meant all of that sewage flowed into self-made pits and seeped into the groundwater untreated.
It became a place that was threatened from a health standpoint. The lake became terribly, terribly polluted.
Ed's dream was drowning. In 1980, Ed Hartledge died. County government bought the land and sold it to anyone living there for $1, with one condition.
If they moved out, the land went back to the government.
But that has yet to happen. So Lake Dreamland stays tucked away in southwest Louisville, the community left alone.
Other people love the isolation, love the beauty, love being kind of out of the way, but out of the way also meant, from a government standpoint, out of mind.
And now, there are still no sewers, just septic tanks that homeowners must maintain, and Lake Dreamland's reputation plagued by poverty and drugs.
I feel like people look down on us just because of what someone else says.
Take a drive, you'll see some of the homes falling apart. One sign even reads, "Be a good neighbor and stay over there." But it's a misguided perception according to some locals.
It's not a bad place. I mean, it's like anywhere you're gonna live. You're gonna have your good, you're gonna have your bad.
Connie Hubbard has lived here for more than 40 years, most of her life with no intention of leaving.
It's a nice place to live, no matter what anybody says.
She says change is underway, people taking pride in their homes.
Great Plains, there's a lot of buffalo.
And the children focusing on higher education.
So tell me about the project.
The progress in large part because of this man's work in the community.
It's not the worst of times, the good old days. The best days of Lake Dreamland is yet to come.
Tim Hartledge used to live here. Yes, that last name is Hartledge. He is Ed's great-grandson. Though he's moved out of Lake Dreamland, Tim refuses to move on.
5 will be right here.
He returned in 2011 and started this ministry at Southwest Church on Kramer's Lane, 1 mile from the Lake Dreamland neighborhood, tutoring the children, mentoring them.
I figured I'd be here a year, put somebody else in charge. Well, here I am. We're still doing it.
Working with young minds, young eyes that have been exposed to some terrible things.
Witnessing somebody OD, seeing somebody passed out with a needle in their arm, seeing people go after people with guns.
He isn't giving up on them or on the future of Lake Dreamland. Pastor Tim says this small, nearly forgotten community has promise. A promise of purpose, of prosperity, and a promise to Uncle Ed that maybe his greatest dream comes true after all.
Lake Dreamland itself is more than a lake. It's made up of people that have each other's back. It's not all bad. They're good people. They just need a little hope.